Okay, boot campers, just gather around here. We got a demo on a basic Beurre Blanc. What I am going to do is make a butter sauce. Beurre means butter, Blanc means white. So it's a basic butter sauce. Now, the reason I chose a saute pan rather than a sauce pot, because I want a bigger surface area for faster reduction and also a quicker incorporation of the butter. So let's get started. What I'm going to do is turn on the heat. I am going to add the wine, the vinegar, the peppercorns, a bay leaf, and we'll leave some thyme sprigs. Now, I'd like to know where the rest of the thyme went, but we're going to use them in another recipe today. Okay, then we're going to also use the shallots. Okay, that's basically our setup for a reduction. Now, you can reduce this at a very high heat because as soon as it comes to a boil, continue to reduce this, not going to burn, and we're going to reduce this down to what we call almost dry, or what we call sec, S-E-C, all right? What the vinegar does for you, the vinegar works with the proteins of the heavy cream, and what that does, it helps emulsify it. And the vinegar also gives you flavor, and you can use just about any type of vinegar you want. Just a plain white vinegar, champagne vinegar, tarragon vinegar, and some of your other flavored vinegars if you like that particular variety of flavor going into a Beurre Blanc. Okay, let's take a look at this now. You see how this has reduced? All right, we're going to reduce this down just a little bit more to what we call sec. Sec means almost dry, to where you still got a little bit of moisture coating the back of the pan. All right, can you see that? Everybody take a look at that? All right, so we got a little bit of liquid left there where it's almost dry. Now, what I am going to do is add heavy cream to it. Now, if you notice, I have another container of heavy cream over here. I personally like to add a little more heavy cream than the recipe calls for because it gives me more body and it gives me a lot more richness and it gives me a little more stability to my Beurre Blanc with the heavy cream. Because you got to remember, a true Beurre Blanc doesn't really have the heavy cream. But when you add the heavy cream to the recipe that it calls for, what that does is help you give stability to the butter when you add the butter so it doesn't melt out. So I'm going to add a little bit more heavy cream to this. Okay, that looks pretty good. Maybe a couple more ounces to it. Now I'm just going to let that reduce down to where it's a nice nappe. And as you see it, as it's reducing, okay, it's picking up some color, which is all right. Okay, let's let this reduce down. Okay, folks, you can see now that this heavy cream is reduced. Now, you're getting some browning along the bottom here edge and on the edge of the pan. And the reason you're getting it is because it's the sugars and the sugars of the heavy cream, sugars of the wine that's beginning to brown and caramelize up on the edge there. So what we're going to do is we're going to just get this heat up a little bit. This is going to take another second or so, and you want this to reduce this down to what we call nappe. And remember, nappe means to coat the back of a spoon. So what we're getting into is a really nice character here on this. Now, basically at this point, what I'm going to do, I am going to shut the heat off because you do not want to add the butter. Perfect. You do not want to add the butter to this when it's hot. Because if you add the butter to this when it's hot, the butter's going to melt, and as the butter melts, it's going to separate. All we want to do is incorporate the butter to this, a couple pieces at a time, all right, and let the butter melt into it. And as it melts into it, it's going to cool down, and as it cools down, it's going to equalize the temperatures of the butter and the sauce, so it's just warm. It's not going to be too hot. And when we do that, all right, when we do that, the butter's going to be melted but not separated. Okay, on this Beurre Blanc, I got the last of the butter in here. Now, most of your purists, when they do a Beurre Blanc, they swirl like this. This is called monte, okay, swirling in the butter. Now, for you, if you don't have strong wrists and it takes a while to do this, you may use a wooden spoon. Never ever use a whip, because by using a whip, what will happen is that it's going to help break up that emulsification of that butter a little faster, and if it gets too warm, what we'll do, it's going to separate out. So always use a wooden spoon, nice and easy, or if you want to stand there and maybe swirl it, get that in there, then you'll be in good shape in terms of the sauce. This is about ready to be strained. As soon as these couple little pieces get in here, which is only going to take another maybe 10 seconds or so, you can see where now it is basically has been incorporated. Now, if you look at that consistency, beautiful. It's a nice nappe consistency. So now we're getting ready here, and we are done with putting the butter in. The butter's all melted in there. So now all we have to do is strain it. Okay, to strain it, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just slide this to the side. And then I'm going to take a chinois. The chinois is a very fine screen. I'm going to pass it through the chinois in a stainless steel insert, and then I'm going to put it in a stainless steel bowl. I am not going to put it back into a pan. Okay, you can see all them little pieces of shallots, peppercorns, and get all those little munchies out of there. Okay, I'm going to put this over to the side. We're then going to take a spatula. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a spatula. I'm just going to work it down through. All right, see what I'm doing? I'm just working this down through the chinois. See somebody over there licking their lips. Looks pretty good. All right, now, by putting it through that chinois, I've gotten all the liquid out of there. Okay, and you got to do this fairly fast because you don't want to cool this down too much, okay? And now what we got is all the pieces we got the flavor out of. Okay, let's make sure we get all that little bit of sauce off of there, because a little bit will go a long way. All right, I'm going to put this over here. Now, so you can see this, and I can taste it, make sure it's fine. What I'm going to do is put this in a stainless steel bowl. Now, as you can see it, as I'm pouring this in a stainless steel bowl, nice, rich, creamy nappe consistency. Let's get it all out of there, all right, so we can use it for service. Now, what are we going to serve this with? You can serve this with just about anything because it is a butter sauce. It's a light butter sauce. But it's a very good sauce to go with something that has been moist heat cooked, such as something that's been poached. Goes very well with that. But still goes very nice with a grilled steak, grilled seafood, fish, anything this Beurre Blanc will go with. It's going to go with our pork chops later on when we add mustard to it. Okay? Now, again, variations. You can add mustard to it. You can add tomato paste to it. You can add anything you like to this to make a different variation to it. But this is now your basic Beurre Blanc. Tasting it. A little salt, a little pepper. We're going to add a little salt to this. I'm not going to be too sure about the pepper on it. Now, to hold this, what you want to do, take this, put this over top of a warm water bath. Do not bring it back to heat. Do not boil it. Do not get it too hot, otherwise the butter separates and it goes into a water phase.